Happy New Year's, everyone. This is a crazy way to start off the year. That's right, the refines and remixes for January have dropped. And oh my god, we've already started with a really strong start. So let's start off with Legendary Corrin's remix, Negating Thing 2, and the new skill she got, Guard 4. That's correct, she got Guard 4. Now if you don't know, Guard 4 is only available on Goto, who is a mythic. So that's like really premium fodder. It's really good. Like, honestly, Guard 4 is a very good skill, and being able to get this on Corrin, who you might just have like extra copies lying around in your barracks, or you can just get her for cheaper on one of the remix banners, right? This is insane. This is such good fodder, and it also gives us some idea of what her refine possibly could be as well. But before we jump into that, let's start talking about Negating Thing 2 first. So Negating Thing 2 has a cooldown of 3, it reduces the damage from foes attacks by 40%, so this is non-pierceable damage reduction, right? And it's based off specials. Before it was 30%, so now it's gone up by 10%, which is nice and a little upgrade there. She's also going to get, after it triggers, she's going to get her next attack boosted by 40% of her attack. Before it was 30%, so another 10% boost right there. So overall, looking pretty solid. But this is where it gets absolutely insane. If foe has the attack's twice effect, so essentially if they have a brave effect, right? You get special cooldown count -2 after the first special trigger per combat. This is absurdly good. So in my Legendary Corrin refine video I put out, I talked about her getting possibly brave damage reduction, right? We've seen this more in like Weaving Fighter and stuff like that, or even like on Winter Dimitri, and it's really good. But Corrin actually got an even better version of that. She got non-pierceable damage reduction with brave attacks. That is absurdly stupidly good. Like, oh my god. So if you've like a big Omni Tank player like I am, one of the things you'll notice is that a lot of God Swords who run Godlike Reflexes, they are weak to brave attacks. What essentially will happen is they'll get hit once, the Godlike Reflexes will do its job and they'll be fine. Then the second hit comes in and they take a lot of damage, and that's usually how they get killed. But with this, Corrin's gonna be able to get hit, right? Get what the first attack, just have that damage neutralized a bit. Then the second hit comes in, it gets neutralized as well. So she's going to be very, very good against brave hits, which is really, really good in our current meta. The fact she also has guard in her B skill is really nice as well, meaning that she's going to be able to really stop those specials. And it's possible that she could even get like scowl in her weapon, which means that she would like be really good against brave attacks, good against specials because she could turn them off, and then also have guard lock them out. Like, it's really a powerful effect. And even if she doesn't have it in her weapon, she could run scowl in her A slot, because you can run distant counter in the seal slot thanks to the distant counter dragon seal, right? So this is looking really, really, really powerful. We do have to see what she gets in the refine though. Like, this is a very strong start. This might be one of the strongest starts we've ever seen to a remix. The thing is, we definitely need to see one key effect, which is like the shield pulse effect, right? The effect that can lower the cooldown of her special. We need to see that for sure, because if she doesn't have that, then, well, it's gonna be a lot more difficult to actually get her going, right? So that is something we have to see. Other than that though, I think this is a great start, and I'm really excited for Corrin. I have her at +8 accidentally. I never summoned for her, but it just happened. As DTM says, the legendaries choose you, you don't get to choose them. So hopefully she gets a really good refine to like finish this off, and she just becomes one of the best Omni tanks in the game, which would be cool. Moving on, let's go on to Legendary Lilina. So we have Gifted Magic 2, and this is a 2 cooldown AoE special. What this essentially does is you get the AoE damage before combat. Now, Gifted Magic 1, one thing about it was that even though it had a low cooldown, it only had a 0.8 modifier, so it only did 80% of the damage between your attack and the foe's defense and resistance. They've just made this 100%, so this is a 20% damage increase to her AoE, which is a really strong start. That's really good. That's what we wanted to see. I mean, I was kind of hoping for like 150%, but because it's a 2 cooldown special, I can understand where they're coming from, not putting it that strong. Either way, just seeing that big of an upgrade is really good. But then also she's going to get a really unique effect, where after combat, if her special triggered, she's going to grant Canto 1 to herself, but also all allies within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on herself. That is really crazy, like, right? Because I was thinking at first like maybe it'd be like an ally within 2 spaces. No, it's 3 rows or 3 columns. That is a massive range. And what this can really let you do is going to allow Lilina's teams to be way more mobile, which could make her better at like hit and running, or it can make her just way better in arena, right? Because if you're in arena, a lot of times what you'll do is you'll send Lilina in, she'll AoE something, and then she gets kind of stuck. You need to get her out somehow. Before, you would run like Far Trace and then like kind of wait for them to get close to you and then use it that way. But with this, you can just Canto 1 out. So you can go in, destroy something, Canto out. Very, very nice upgrade. Glad to see the extra damage on that special in particular. Now the other thing she got was Sabotage Attack Resistance 3. That's right, we got another amazing remix skill here. I cannot believe they're giving this out. This is actually a pretty rare skill. It's available on a few heroes, but typically they're pretty premium, like, you know, like Mark or something, right? Like Duo Mark. So getting this for free, or like getting this on like an older legendary that you might have copies of, is really strong, and this is a great skill for her. So I'm overall like very happy. This is a great way to start the year off with some great refines and remixes. And when it comes to Lilina's actual refine, the thing I'm really looking for is like damage reduction piercing for AoEs in particular, right? There's a lot of AoE damage reduction that gets thrown around, so being able to pierce that or even have it would be really nice. And then the other thing is true damage. We definitely want to see like true damage based off her attack or resistance. That's really good because true damage with AoEs hits twice, right? First it hits with the AoE, then it hits with the initial attack after the AoE. So those are the two things I'm really looking for Lilina's refine, and if she gets those, she's going to be in a very strong place. But that's not all, we also got the refines announced for this month, and this is quite the batch. So obviously we do have Corrin and Lilina as expected, but we also got Kyria, Young Minerva, Ferdinand, and Baby Merrick. So this is actually like a nice little group here, right? But most notably, you'll notice, I didn't say one unit, Layla. That's right, Layla is finally getting her refine. If you don't know, I'm a massive Layla simp, not really because of her character, but because of her playstyle. Layla plus Altina was my favorite Ether Raids team to ever exist, and I'm really hoping they do Layla justice here and make it so that her weapon can get around saves. Because the one thing that killed Layla, in my opinion, was that when she attacked into a save unit, it doesn't activate her warping effect anymore, and which is a big deal, right? So I'm really hoping they fix that at all. If they make her stronger, that's great, but just having the ability to swap spaces with another ally is such a cool effect and is so underrated. So I'm really hoping they give that to Layla. Outside of that, I'm just, hoping that everybody else gets some pretty solid refines. Hopefully Ferdinand gets some love. And Young Merrick was really solid back in the day, so I'd love to see what they actually do with him as well. Now the final thing we have to talk about, of course, is the combat manuals. Unfortunately, we didn't really get that much of good stuff here. Naomi has like Speed Res Bond 4 and like Joint Drive Res 3 or something. Something like not very good. Neither of those skills are very good. And then Pledging Raphael has like his bow, which is really outdated, and like some other skills that are also not that great. I think it's like Oddfall or something like that. Either way, these are not like the biggest value 5-star manuals. We also do get Ferdinand and like Summer Donnie, which is nice, but this honestly is a bit underwhelming, especially considering how good the remixes were this month. But either way, it's not that big of a deal, right? Other than that, we did get some other minor updates. The Ether Raid structures are getting upgraded, like Catapult and stuff like that. Not a big deal. We're getting a higher increase in favor level for SD, and then we'll also be getting Sizo and Fargus as new Grail units, which is very cool. I'm glad for all the fans out there. Other than that, there's really not much else in this update, but I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of this update? Are you excited for Corrin and Lilina's remixes, or are you really excited for one of these refines? Because this is a really cool batch of heroes. I'd love to hear about it, so drop a comment down below letting me know. As always, I'd like to thank all my members for their constant support. This has been Oblivion. I'll catch y'all later.